Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, cats, dogs, you name it. My name is Trav Torch, the R&B superhero, and welcome to the very first episode of the Trav Torch Show podcast. And I decided to start a podcast because I wanted to give people that listen to my music, people that follow me on social media, the opportunity to connect with me on a different level to get more of my personality. And also to provide a platform for other content creators and people that are doing positive things. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. If you're listening somewhere else, then do what you can do on those platforms, whatever it allows you to do. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our very first guest to the Trav Torch Show, Mrs. Ashley Wimbush. And I'm used to calling you Ashley Howard. I had to practice that.
Yes. Hi. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trav Torch.
Yeah. So I hear you're an actress, a poet, an instructor, and an Afro queen. That's what your Instagram says.
I am all of that and all of the above. Yes, sir.
Okay, I see your shirt there.
Yes.
It says Afro Queen.
Yes, Afro Queen. I actually created that myself. I'm creating a clothing line for all my queens, not just my Afro queens, but all my queens. I'm coming out with different themes, and that'll be coming very soon. So stay tuned for that.
Okay.
But for right now, I published the Afro Queen. That'll be my first, because of course I am the Afro Queen.
It's sharp.
Thank you.
Sharp.
Thank you.
Sharp. So, instructor. What do you instruct?
Actually, I instruct martial arts. I grew up in a karate school.
You did.
Yes, and Trav Torch knows that because he's known me since I was, 6th grade. But
Absolutely.
yes.
We lived around the corner from each other in Maplewood.
Yep, absolutely. So, my father owns a karate school, and I've been teaching in that karate school, so I'm an instructor.
Dope. So you got like a black belt with all the stripes on it?
Yeah, I have a black belt. It has one large stripe.
Okay. Well, when you get two, we'll bring you back on the show. And you can talk about how you got that extra stripe.
Right.
So, actress. Now, can we say that? Can we say that? I've heard some people only want to be called actors, even the women. Is that okay?
I actually have no preference at all. I'm an artist by nature, but when it comes to being an actor, actress, whatever you can call me, I'm that.
So how did you get into acting?
Well, to be honest, acting was something that I've always had a passion for since I was a young child. It was just really me being afraid of actually stepping forth and doing that.
Okay.
So as far as getting into it, when I was in college, I initially wanted to major in acting, but I was told to have a backup plan. So with that, I eventually decided to, settle on psychology. Nothing against anyone who does psychology, but
we've all been told to do something practical, right?
Right.
Don't major in acting. That's like majoring in general studies or something like that.
Exactly. So while I was in college, I had other majors. While I was in college, I had like undecided major, then I had psychology, and then that's what I settled on. But all my free electives were in acting 101, Brazilian film, film production, everything. Like everything was in film, and I would do all the projects for people that were in film that needed actors. And then eventually I came across a guy, his name is Jamar Hill, and he's a creator himself, and he really got me into it. I was like, background on House of Cards, and that opened even more doors.
Oh, dope. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've done quite a bit of work that led me to where I am in my creative space today. So I'm just really excited to see like where this journey takes me moving forward.
So you said you took Brazilian film. What's the difference between Brazilian film and American film?
You know what's so funny? If you had asked me that while I was taking the class, I could tell you.
But you forgot.
But right now, I can't tell you. But I can tell you this.
You can tell me you got 3 credits?
Yes.
There you go.
But I can tell you that with Brazilian film, it really gives you a taste of what their culture is like.
Okay.
As far as like the filming is concerned, I didn't see a difference. But to be honest, I wasn't as knowledgeable about film back then as I am now.
And who were some of your favorite actors or actresses that inspired you to get into the craft?
Well, to get into the craft, to be honest, when I was a kid, I used to watch all that, and I really wanted to be like on all that. But as I got older,
I did too.
Yeah. As I got older, I love Sanaa Lathan, Angela Bassett. Those were my girls. But then, I still struggled with finding my brand. And so then when one day, like, who was then my boyfriend and now my husband, he told me about this girl that had this YouTube series called Awkward Black Girl. And I'm like, who is that? And then I watched it, and it was so crazy because it's like, finally, I found my flavor.
Okay.
It's like watching these women. Like, I admired Sanaa Lathan, I admired Angela Bassett, but it's like, nothing about them resonated with me other than the fact that we're black women.
Right.
But with Issa Rae, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, she's like paving the way for people like me, like the weird girls like me.
Right. So I was actually going to say, so This Is 30 is the name of the show, and it definitely has an Insecure type of vibe to it. I was going to ask you about that. But what was your inspiration for the series? And if you give a quick summary for our listeners for the first episode.
Okay. So my inspiration for the series, so I've had a pretty interesting dating life. And anytime I tell the story to anyone, I have them like crying, laughing on the floor. And I just wondered like why I always had these experiences. So I decided to write about it. And when I did, it actually made me laugh writing about it. So then I thought about just creating a series. Initially, it was supposed to be a movie, and then it just turned into a series.
Probably better as a series.
Right.
So Tyler, right? That's your character.
Yes.
So is Tyler the creation of your dating life in an episode?
Absolutely. What happened in episode 1, make sure you all tune in if you haven't, actually happened in real life.
Oh, wow.
That actually happened to me in real life, yes.
So you actually fell and somebody walked past you and said, are you serious? Is she serious?
Yes, and laughed.
Wow.
Yes.
That's deep.
I was in New York. It was hilarious.
Take a sip on that note.
Yeah. Yes, that actually happened.
Go ahead, tell the story.
Okay, so I don't want to spoil it, but I was on a date with this guy. I had like a huge accident while we were out, and I was super nervous about the date, and I fell because I'm not a hill wearer. A lot of us women aren't, but we have to act like we are. And
a lot of y'all definitely aren't.
Right.
Be walking like ducks.
Deer.
Newborn
baby deer.
Baby deer.
And
absolutely.
It's not fair. I think it's like slavery. Like, why do women have to wear heels? I think that's terrible.
You don't have to.
I mean, you're right. We don't have to, which is why I go to the places that don't require for you to wear them.
And you also make sure you park out front so you don't have to walk too far.
Absolutely. I was so mad. Like, on my actual date, he's like, oh, yeah, it's right down the block. It was like around 5 blocks.
New York City blocks.
Horrible.
Yeah.
I just like, after a while, I'm just like, can we go home?
Yeah.
But we made it to the destination. But yeah, it was crazy. I ended up falling.
So Ronnie and Brianna, what gave you the inspiration for them?
Well, Ronnie and Brianna, they're a mixture of the girlfriends that I have. It was a group of us. They called us the Jersey crew because we were the only girls in Jersey that actually were friends together, like when I was at Morgan State University. So that's what they call us, like the Jersey crew, yeah.
Okay.
So my girls are my inspiration, but I kind of had to like mix them up together into 2 characters.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they both have very strong personalities on the show.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So let's get to my character, Marcus.
Yes.
Tell me about Marcus. Tell us about Marcus.
Well, Marcus, originally, Marcus has many faces, honestly, but originally Marcus is an image. He's an image of the guy that all girls like want to be with.
Okay.
Right now,
I'm flattered.
Okay. So that's who Marcus is, and Tyler, my character, just kind of made the assumption that basically women, we put men on these pedestals that is so high that doesn't even like, you forget that men are human beings just like we are.
That's interesting that you say that, because men do the same thing.
I mean,
and I didn't know that women actually put men on pedestals.
That's
interesting.
They do. Like a lot of times, well, I can't speak for all women, but I just know like if a woman is dating a guy who they feel is so perfect, it's just like the nerves of like going out with them and like even like defining what this perfect is. It's just like they automatically put that stamp on that guy where they feel like they have to force themselves to be something that they're not. And I run into that quite often. Like I feel like everyone wears the representative, mask when they go on the first date. Right. So with that, I mean...
And that's exemplified in the scene where you ripped the eyelash in half.
Exactly. She was trying to be something that she wasn't.
Right.
That she thought that he wanted her to be.
So from the first episode, what was your favorite scene, or the scene that was the most fun to film?
The most fun to film, honestly, was the fall.
That was funny.
It was hilarious.
Good thing your husband brought a mat for you.
Yeah, definitely. Because he knew I was going to fall for real.
Yeah, that was definitely my favorite scene to watch. Obviously, I wasn't in the whole show, but it was definitely my favorite scene to watch. It was funny.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the future of the series. Where do you see this series going? And give us an exclusive preview of sort of like a teaser of what's to come.
He's asking me to give you all a teaser, but he really wants to know.
I do.
He hasn't received his script yet.
You're right.
So
I need to know if I'm a recurring character or not. Trying to get my check.
Marcus is definitely a reoccurring character.
That's what I'm talking about. Damn it.
As far as like my expectation about what So This Is 30 is going to be about, to be honest with you, it's just like I spent so long trying to figure out what my brand is that now that I've found it, I'm in the business of creating. So where it goes, I'm just going to leave that to God. But for right now, I'm just putting it out there, and it's so pure because it's me. This is just me.
That's right. Leave it to Jesus. All right.
Oh, goodness.
So we are in the middle of a pandemic. What are some challenges that's bringing to you while you're trying to finish or trying to continue on putting together this web series?
It's been very challenging because as far as filming is concerned, we had to put a huge pause button on that. And then not only that, but one of my characters, she's in the military, and she was in Afghanistan, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And she was supposed to come back in July, like early July, and it was postponed. But now I can say that she's back safe and sound. We're going to be filming soon. So, yes, shout out to Marie Durand. She's the character of Ronnie.
Well, tell Marie Durand, a.k.a. Ronnie, we said thank her for her service.
Oh, absolutely.
We do appreciate all of our armed services, military personnel.
Right. I would definitely let her know.
So how can people follow you?
Okay, so you can follow me on YouTube. So This Is 30 series. Also on Instagram, I am Miss_AJ Teray on Instagram.
Okay. And, I kind of like this. At some point, we'd like to have you back and maybe some of the other characters and talk about the progression of the show and kind of like Power Confidential type of vibe, maybe. We'll see. If I can get some more microphones. We'll see if we can do that.
That'll be wonderful.
But before we go, I dropped an album.
You sure did.
Last month. It's
you
called
sure did.
Bachelor Life 2. Did you listen to it?
Yes, I did.
Sure?
Yes, I did.
All right, I'm going to pull your card now. What was your favorite track?
Don't Leave. I'm such a Cancer, but that was my track.
Really?
Yes, I resonated with that one.
Why?
Don't Leave Me. I resonated with that one because he was begging for her to be patient, but in the same breath...
I was begging?
Well, I mean, don't leave.
I thought it was kind of, pleading.
Yeah, pleading, begging, still. Like, you're just like,
Pleading's
okay, baby, I can't be without you. Don't leave me. I know I'm not doing what I need to do, but be patient. That really resonated with me, and I feel like it can resonate with a lot of women because a lot of women go through that. I mean, we all have our stages, but I feel that when it comes to like the differences between men and women, a lot of times it's just like it takes men a little longer in certain situations to get to that point where they can say, okay, I know this is the woman for me. Now, what am I going to do about it? But sometimes when they finally figure it out, it's too late.
Yes.
So in this instance, I feel that that was one of my favorite tracks because like I even like made a video in my mind of what that would look like.
Really, we'll have to talk about that after the show, just in case I decide to shoot a video. Maybe you can direct it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I definitely see where you're coming from, and a lot of times, a lot of men have trouble communicating that in the song, and they often lie or mislead,
Right.
in order to keep a woman on standby rather than just being honest about how he feels.
Exactly.
So,
And we come across that a lot, and not to just put it all on men. Some women do it as well.
right.
And I feel that it's really all out of fear a lot of times. Like, you know, we're fearful to really put our all into some people, and we don't know what getting all back really looks like, or if we can even handle that, or if we even deserve it. So it just, that track just had me thinking about all those things, and that's really why I chose that one.
Dope. Well, Ashley, Mrs. Wimbush, thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for having me, Trav Torch.
On the Trav Torch Show, episode 1. And you can follow me at Trav Torch on all social media, youtube.com/Trav Torch. And that is it. See y'all later.